I think industry leaders, they should recommend focusing on that, directional strategy linked impact measures, changing in beliefs among HCPs, right? Going from that adversary to at least a neutral, hopefully an advocate. That's much harder to do, right? But rather than just looking exhaustively at tracking activity and all that stuff that we've been talking about, but really trying to make some infrastructure about how we can really make that impact and deliver on that. And what do we need the MSL team to do that? If we just stick to what we've always done, what that leads to is MSLs just focus on getting the numbers, right? Quote unquote, but very little else. Sure, impact happens here and there because it's just good relationships and you have nice conversations and people are on board and whatnot else. But the overall feeling amongst the team is I get my numbers. We really want to get around, we want to get past that. So I go back to what I was saying, which is we really need to embrace that quantitative part of it. And as much as how easy it is to just revert back, stop, and just look at it from we know they're going to get their numbers, right? Because if you're doing your job, you're going to get all those numbers. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
If you're trying to really change the impact or make an impact by changing patient outcomes, all the numbers will happen anyways, right? Just automatically. And that impact that we're looking at, closing that gap, as you say, I think if we're going to wave a magic wand, we need to just move on and say it's 2025. So let's look at something different. It's going to be unique. Rare disease is different than primary care. Some drug that's been out 5 or 10 years is going to have a different way of doing it than something brand new. So there isn't a way I can just say, hey, I've already just measured this one thing. It would all come together, because I think it's going to be different based on every different therapeutic area and everything like that.
Absolutely.
I think another way to look at it maybe too is just within organizations having a common KPI that everybody agrees upon. Medical affairs touches R&D, marketing, sales, regulatory, everybody else. But, and this is what I was saying at the very beginning, is there's no common way of measuring all this stuff. Let's say, hey, when I work with sales, I work with this, and when I work with R&D, it's this. But if we all got together and said, let's all measure this one KPI that we all can agree will actually change things for the company. And this is how we're all working towards that. And not just from strategy, whatever. It's something that is a measurement. It's literally is numbers game, right? We had that, then we'd all be on the same page. And it's like this peer pressure thing. Oh, hey, everyone's doing it, so we should get on board with this impact measurement as well. But if it was consistent, and I don't see that at all everywhere I worked, unfortunately, like I said, hey, when we work with this group, we measure it this way. I work with that group, we measure it a different way. But that inherently is part of the problem why we have this gap. Everybody looks at what we do differently and how they measure how we interact with them on an internal base. I'm not even talking outside the company, just internally. So if we had a way of doing a common KPI, so I would encourage leaders, look for that way to say, hey, if we all work towards this one KPI together, we can actually measure what we do very easily.